let's move off directly into divorce. I hear a lot of this lately, that couples, young people, are less likely to really give it a go, that not only are they getting married less, but when they do get married, they are much less likely than their parents to try to make little things, try to work out little differences, little problems.
Mm-hmm.
That they're much more likely to divorce easily. What do you get? What kind of feel do you get from people in that way?
You know, as with any type of societal change, it's part progress and part dark underbelly.
Mm.
You know, the progress is back in the day when it was exceptionally hard to get a divorce. You'd have people stuck in these abusive relationships with really no way out and very little support and very little freedom. And so I think there is good that comes from a bit more wiggle room to leave when divorce is the best choice. You know, I've heard it said you can be pro-marriage without being anti-divorce.
Mm.
And I fall into that camp. There is sometimes that divorce is what needs to happen. Now, the dark underbelly of that, it's easier to divorce, it's like you're saying, is a lot of people, I think, give up too quickly. I think if it's not idyllic, but even then, most people don't expect their marriage to be idyllic. Everyone knows going in, well, we're going to have hardships and we're going to have arguments, but we'll work it out. But then you actually get in the trenches, and it's harder than you realize.
Do most people going into marriage that you deal with believe that they were going to be married to this person till the end of their lives?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And depending on their beliefs, you know, even beyond. But yeah, no one gets married to get divorced, at least not that I've ever met. And so do I see people who... So my bias, whenever a couple comes to me, is to say my bias is always to start with trying to not just save the marriage, but make it flourish. And the metaphor that I use is, or the simile, I guess, is a marriage is like a garden. That you have weeds that need to be cleared out in order for the fruit to grow. You also have a lot of crap that actually is for your good and for the good of the marriage. You just don't sense it at the time.
Yeah.
And then there's the sunshine and the water. And so my bias is to always treat it like a garden, that we're not just going to help it eke by. We want this thing to thrive. But if we realize collectively, and it's never my decision. I never say you guys should just get a divorce.
Yeah.
But if they say to me, this is the direction we want to take it, then we transition into peaceful mediation. You know?
We've gone way too long on this break. Closing question for this break. You work in a community that has a very high retirement population. Do you work with more senior couples who, for whatever reason, and maybe it's that the kids have gone and I've rediscovered myself, and you know, I just want to be a little bit me. I'm putting words in your mouth
Right.
and you're counseling, but do you talk to a lot of senior couples who are having trouble?
I talk to senior couples who are having trouble, but what you just described is more what I see in the movies. Usually, the senior couples, they've lost a spouse to death and they've remarried.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there's empty nest syndrome going on. But very, very very seldom do I see someone who says, now that the kids are gone, I just want to start over.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned the movies, and you do specialize in a couple of things that make your counseling unique. We want to talk about those when we come back. We're with Jonathan Decker, a marriage and family therapist in St. George. We'll be right back on Utah Matters.